Good evening, everyone. I, Rekha Raj, PGT English, Resource Person AIEF, Founder, Managing Director, and Chairperson, Kvesha, the Lighted Lamp Global Foundation. Welcome you all for this enriching session, which I'm sure will be quite helpful if the resources shared are imparted well. Before proceeding further, I would like to thank Sir Matthew Thomas for providing us the platform. The exam season, we know, is a routine process. Parents, teachers, students work really hard to face it and gain success too. Our today's topic, answering art, will help overcome common difficulties and typical mistakes in exam. Build strategies, provide guidance, and motivate all to further energize and regenerate by imparting the knowledge gained. So here I begin welcoming all once again. We all know knowledge comes from learning so many subjects: maths, English, science, history, etc. And that knowledge brings in what? Sometimes motivation, sometimes we feel demotivated. Even we as an educator feel demotivated when we are not up to the mark, when our students don't do what they exactly should have done. So what do you think tackling exams be like? Image A, image B, image C. A boy so nicely writing the examination with a mouth wide open, or image D. What comes into it ignites and we start writing the answers. I would request you all to please use the chat box to answer, and I'll be giving the answers as I proceed further in the session. I would like you all to please give the answer in the chat box. How should we tackle the exam? Image A, image B, image C, or the image D? Okay, Karthik says image D. Thank you, Karthik. D. Okay, so whatever comes into the mind, we should actually start writing. But do you think whatever comes, we should start writing, or we should patiently think and then start writing? I hope none of the option is correct. We should take care while writing the answers. Another question arises, how to be exam ready? How to be exam ready? What should be the strategy? What should be the exam tips? So that later on, no one crips how to write the board exam. It all includes a strategy. Yes, if we talk about answering art, most important which comes under this category is exam paper presentation. How to present the exam, how to present your paper, what to do, what not to do, which includes leaving space between words, use of proper punctuation, use of capital letters in the right place, not making a spider web on the paper, and using appropriate sentence structure, highlighting important words. These are the things we should keep in mind before answering or before presenting our answers. Am I missing out something? Do you think I have left out something here from these points? If you feel, you're free to speak out. If I'm left out with anything apart from these things which are mentioned, point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, please, you are welcome to speak out. Anyone would like to speak? Karthik, spider web means when we actually put the cut marks on the question in a way we don't know what to cut and what to keep. That is spider web, spoiling your answer sheet. Have I left out anything? Anybody can speak out, please. Correct information about yourself, like roll number, name, etc. That comes in the beginning. Presentation, I'm talking about the presentation. What is the most important thing we should keep in mind while we are presenting the question paper? What should be the most important thing? Draw margins, fine. What else?
Neatness.
Excellent. Anybody else wants to speak? Good handwriting. Yes. Giving the best handwriting. That is the most important. But before that, drawing margins is also important. Yes, we should draw the margins, and margins on the right hand side and the left hand side both. Don't forget to draw the margins, because it actually helps the examiner to give you the marks properly, and it actually makes your copy presentable, underlining the main points. So many things I'm getting it. Very nice. Excellent. But when we talk about writing legibly, clear? When we talk about good handwriting, do you think we should actually involve ourselves so much that we forget about the time? I think many a times it happens when we start writing in a good handwriting right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, we have seen students, they start the answer and they write it so nicely that they forget. At the end, they feel, oh, I'm lacking time. I'm not able to complete the answers on time. I know actually the handwriting immediately captures the attention of the paper checker. Yes, of course, it will give you good marks. It will actually good handwriting. It acts as a Ramban. I would say it hides your errors from the answer sheet. So let your answer sheet be written in a good handwriting. It should be in good handwriting. It should be legibly, but please don't indulge, don't engross yourself in writing too much. Make a strategy. Vandana ma'am, thank you so much. So the examiner, when is impressed, what you get in written? Of course, the good marks. The student gets the good marks. Very good. But you know, few things that can send a shiver down a student's spine. What are those things? Like a thought of not finishing the exam paper timely. And this happens why? Why it happens? Because ma'am has already mentioned, Vandana ma'am already said that it happens because of poor time management. So what should be done? How to complete your exam paper on time? How we can complete the exam paper on time? The question arises now. This is the question. Anybody? How to complete your exam paper on time? What we can do? We can practice similar tests beforehand. What we can do? Writing fast at the sound. Topic says writing fast, distribution of time for every question accordingly, not writing more than enough. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, yes, attempt question, easy ones. Thank you so much, Rishita. So, practicing questions, similar questions, I would say, in the test beforehand, what it does, it actually helps you out, gives you a practice of these are trial tested questions, and they will make you work in a better way. You can practice similar tests beforehand. You can budget your time well. You don't have to run after the handwriting, but you should reply. You should write legibly. You have to be calm during the examination. You have to make sure that the time you assign to each question is proportional to how much they are worth. You know, one of the best tried and true approach I know, and I think all will well agree with this, which ensures getting the highest possible marks. And do you know what is it? Yes, it is attempting the easier questions first. If you attempt the easier questions first, the most familiar questions first, if the students do this, we guarantee that full marks for those questions, because you know already, you have done it very nicely, you have prepared it very nicely, you know them. And moreover, such questions finish timely. They finish more quickly. If you try to solve the question that are tougher ones, if they are tougher ones, which are a bit blurred in your mind, what happens then? It engrosses the student so much that they are left with no time. and then time management arises. This actually, the mismanagement is there, and there we have to see how we can manage time, because time management is the paramount factor. It is of paramount importance. So please, time management, we need to actually train our children to do this, help them out so that they can perform well. गीता का ज्ञान नहीं लिखना है. We have to actually, what we have to write, we have to write the answers. हर आंसर में समरी नहीं होती जादू की छड़ी. We have to make sure what exactly we are writing. Allocating some time to go through the entire paper, reviewing the answers for potential errors will also help you out. And lastly, you can say, keep calm during the examination. Good rest. If you're resting, if you are taking rest properly, it actually gives your brain a proper organization. It will organize your brain and you will have more time to be productive, and what you write down will be more beneficial to you. Next slide. But in spite of actually doing all this, what exactly we do? What are the common mistakes we do, and we should actually avoid them in the examination? First one is writing unplanned answers. What do unplanned answer mean? Whatever comes in the mind, just jotting it down. जो आ रहा है वो लिख के चले जाओ, जो आ रहा है वो लिख के चले जाओ. So for this, who is responsible? Our mistakes. What the student, we as an educator, forget to tell them, and the students forget to make sure that what we are writing is appropriate or not. So writing unplanned answers, you know, is not does not only waste your precious time, but adorns the paper. Adorns means it decorates the paper with a painting of unwanted elements. How? In a process, as I was talking about the spider web, clear, in a process to just remove them in different ways. I mentioned it earlier, making the spider web as Harshit was asking. Okay, Zanab, okay, ma'am, I'll just repeat it, ma'am. Can we go a few slides back? Yes. How to complete your exam paper on time? Sorry, I'm repeating it, ma'am, as requested by ma'am. First and foremost, we have to practice the test beforehand. As suggested, what happens when the child sees the thickness of the book? They say, why should I actually solve all the paper, all the questions given in the book? But at least we can practice the questions which have been there since long, since 10 years in the board exams. Those questions, we can just do it so that the practice is there. Then we can actually manage the time well. Clear. We start writing in such a nice handwriting that we forget to manage the time. We have to write legibly because it actually attracts the attention of the reader also. The paper checker, I being the examiner, when I would check the copies. If I find good handwriting, that the errors, the minor errors, I can ignore. I can see, yes, of course, the child has given ample of time in learning. If I find even 2, 3, 4 points legible, good up to what is asked, if they are relative anyway, and if they are written legibly, of course, being a paper checker, being an examiner, I'll be actually giving marks to the child rather than just putting a 0. So we have to write it down. But again, time management is a major key where you have to take care. Just what we can do is we can start with the easy questions. Easy questions, if we begin from the easy question we know beforehand. Okay, we are well prepared. And these easy questions will help you gain full marks because you know the answers, you are well prepared with them. Tough questions, what happens? They are actually the images of the tough questions. We have to, they are blur in our mind. As Vandana ma'am says that we have to bring plenty of water also in between so that, okay, ma'am, paper checking is strict in board. Paper checking is strict in board, but if you are writing something related to the topic, will fetch you marks. It is not like, okay, fine, I'm writing anything and you'll get marks. No, as I told that writing summary in every answer will not give you the marks. You have to write what is asked. Appropriate answer for every question is required. So you have to assign the time right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, you have to assign equal proportionate time should be there. You should actually give proper time to each and every question, so that the last questions which you attempt, maybe they are the questions which you don't know, maybe they are the questions which require more time for writing, especially the writing skill questions, they will require more time. So whatever you know, go further. It is not about sequencing. You start doing the questions in a sequence. I've seen the teachers also telling the children to do the work in a sequential manner. Fine, but 2 marker question, how much in a 2 marker question, word limit is given, beta, ma'am, like Janab is a student or a teacher? 2 marker question, the word limit is given, clear? It should not exceed 40 words. Fine. And please, one more thing, don't keep on counting the words. We as an educator tell the students, we can tell them that line, we can just tell them that lines are there. Every line has maximum 7 words. If the handwriting is actually, the letters are too small, if the words are too small, and the writing is very in a way that the words are not large, they are not shredded. Fine. So what can happen? They can actually sorry, I'll just. So don't count the words, 2-3 letter words, you can avoid counting, and just in a line, you can simply, in a line, 7 words are there, 7 multiplied by all the lines, you can calculate and then you can write it down. Fine. So this way, you can actually complete the paper well in time by, again, whatever the points are given over here, you can just focus on those points. Can we shift on to the next slide, please? Hope it makes you clear. Yeah, as we were talking about the common mistakes we do in the examination. The first one, we write unplanned answers. Clear? So what we have to do, we have to avoid writing the unplanned answers. We have to write down what we have learned actually. And for that learning, whenever you sit, whenever the child sits for reading, whenever the child reads the sentences, they should actually come up with some positive words, some good words, so that they can frame a proper answer. The second, the biggest mistake which I say is not reading the question paper properly. Not reading the question paper properly, what it makes you 15 minutes the child gets. They should actually put themselves engrossed into reading, not solving. We have often found children solving the paper at the time. They pick up the pencil, they pick up the pen. Okay, fine. Multiple choices, okay, fine. But you have to make a strategy in your mind. You don't start answering the questions there and then itself. First, try to finish off the reading of the question paper. We have seen children are getting the instructions while reading the comprehensive passage. What you should do, you should read the question and try solving the entire unseen passage during the reading time itself. Yes, you can do it, but after reading the complete question paper, until and unless you are satisfied that I know these questions, you can just plan. You can just put a tick over there, a small tick, although board doesn't allow to use pen while reading. But yes, you can actually, in your mind, you can set, I'm going to go with these questions. The teachers can even guide them that in such a way, you can just simply tick mark the questions which you can attempt. So this way it will save your time. Next slide, ma'am, please. Again, time mismanagement, we have already talked. Copying incorrect data. Many times, even my daughter is in 10th standard. When she starts with a question coming down to the answer, she just skips 1 or 2 numbers. In maths, especially it happens. So make sure that you are not copying the incorrect data. In English also, analytical paragraph, if we talk about 10th, analytical paragraph will actually put means if the data is incorrectly copied, it will, all your process will go in vain. So we should actually use what is given in the table and avoid noting down the incorrect things. Digits even can put you in trouble. Next is, suppose we are done with everything. Everything is over. Now we are about to hand over the sheet to the examiner. What we do, what students, as students, what they do, as teachers, we keep on giving them instructions. Please read the answer sheet thoroughly. Please mark your things. Please see whether you have left any question or not. But still, what we find that the students hand over the sheet to the examiner without reading it. Fine. So as it is written by Mamta ma'am, she says one should make a strategy is okay, fine. But completion of your paper, you should actually hand over the sheet until and unless you are completely satisfied. Please. Last minute discussion before the exam. This is, I would say, common mistake. I would say it's a blunder, I would say. Students, when they reach to school, they start discussing with the friends. Tell me this, tell me this, tell me this, tell me this. Even the teachers, okay, fine, you tell me what would be the answer of this. Actually, it puts the child into the dilemma. According to the scientific study, it says that at least minimum of 30 minutes should be spared to let the mind relax so that it can work in a beneficial manner. Last minute discussion really gives you or puts you in a trouble. Why? Okay, fine. If you know the things, if there is some confusion, you can, of course, you can ask. But unknown topic, what happens sometimes one of the friend comes, oh, तूने ये पढ़ा है, and what happens? The child says, हाँ हाँ मैं तो भूल गई, तो हाँ पढ़ा तो था पर मैं तो भूल गया, तू बता मुझे. क्लियर? आपको क्या लगता है वो एक लास्ट मिनट का वो जो डिस्कशन होता है, हाँ मुझे पता है, वी नो दैट दीज क्वेश्चन ऑफ कोर्स दे कम इन द एग्जाम, ऑफ कोर्स दे कम इन द examination. They may come, they may not come, fine. But do you think the person actually is able to write the answer or recall it without disturbing the peace of mind? Is it so? Do you think it you would be actually if suppose the friends are asking it and you feel like, okay, fine, I am asking him, I have read it very nicely, let me check his knowledge. And you go to one of your friend, your children go to one of the friend and then ask, have you read this? And that last minute question aata hai, and then we are under pressure. Kash mein kar leta. If that question is not there, at least you have another questions to solve. We can solve it. So the rule says that hard work beforehand. Yes, of course, when hard work is more, the score is also more. So we need to put on the hard work. Clear? Yes, Rishita says that it increases anxiety also. Anxiety also is increased when the last minute question, when you have discussed and you are not able to answer in the examination, when the child is not able to answer in the examination, it puts the child into trouble. Next slide, please. These things I have got from some source and I think it may help you very much, fine. So for English, I would say if there is a title in your exam, so sorry, story writing is in your exam, the title is to be mentioned. If we talk about the speech writing, if you talk about the article writing, if you are talking about the report writing, everywhere title is required. Some things you have to specifically keep in mind, the children have to specifically keep in mind in English, like when they start with the speech writing, when they start, what they can do is you should, being an educator, we can give them a starting initial line so that they can actually come up with that. They can use that line in the beginning, and that starting beginning line, what it can be, it could be, the beginning line could be warm welcome, warm wishes. Instead of saying good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, we can simply start with warm wishes. Clear? We don't know what, then we are in the confusion what to write, good morning or good afternoon. We can say, okay, fine. For speech writing, I'm talking about warm wishes. And yes, thank you is important when we come up to the speech. If we are talking about maths, not converting the different measurements into the same units. This is the biggest mistake which we make. The question says centimeter and the answer comes in meter, or the question says meter and the answer comes in centimeter. It puts the child in the trouble. So we as an educator and you as a student, if students have joined, please don't forget to write the units, the formulas, and point them. Clear? Then physics, if we talk about circuit diagrams are sometimes the circuit diagrams you don't properly draw. Chemistry, there is a confusion in the formula chart. For you, what you can do, you can follow a strategy. You can just draw the chart in rough. The teachers can help them giving the chart. They can just what one of my student does. They just the students, what they have a habit of combing. Clear? May it be a girl or may it be a boy, they have a habit of combing several times a day. So as one of my student, only what he or she did, they just took the paper, the formula sheet was there, it was put right in front of that mirror. So whenever they used to go for the brushing of the teeth, it was a suggestion although given by me and they had followed it. So it is while brushing the teeth, they can just read it out. So whatever you feel that I am not able to learn this, exactly I'm forgetting it, make a chart. Put it on the walls wherever you are, stick notes are there, you can just do it. Then if you're not you are not mentioning the chemical, the students, they identify the reactions, the clues which are given in, they are hidden in the question and we are not able to identify them. That is to be made sure that you could identify. Then biology, there is confusion in the terminologies. So please, for the definitions, for the derivations, you should make sure that the derivation should contain a sentence of two or introduction. Clear? It should contain a sentence or a two of introduction, then a diagram, a clear mathematical steps with highlighted final result. The final result should be highlighted. If we are talking about graphical questions, conceptual problems, they should be supported with reasoning. Conceptual questions should always be supported with reasoning. For English, if we are talking about unseen passage, we should read the passage, read the questions first before coming on to the comprehension. At least twice the reading of the comprehension passage should be there. For writing skills, we have to make sure that we use the formula SDR, double S and double C. It could be BC also. Fine. SDR, double C and BC. S is for sender's address, D is for date, R is for receiver's address. SDR, S sender, D date, and R is your receiver's address. Salutation and subject. So it is a formula. We can say SDR, double S and double C. Double C, or you can say it BC also. BC is body, clear, or you can say the content, and the last is your complementary clause. So if, and in social science, if you are not mentioning the full forms of WTO or UNDP, if it is asked, we have to, very good Shazia. If somebody has asked, you have to make sure these questions, whenever you are attempting, you are writing the full forms also. And if you are not writing the names of the places on the maps, then again, it would be a mistake. These are all the common errors with the students too. And as an educator, we can tell them, avoid such mistakes. And then the better answer strategy is with you in front, right in front of you. If you're writing any answer, you have to restate part of the question, include a gist in the first sentence. In the first sentence, I'll repeat it again. Provide evidence for whatever the answer you are writing. At least two details are to be written. Two details, minimum of two details are to be written, and a use of transition word which can actually connect you. Phrase you have to write down, and each and every sentence should have it. You have to close it by referring to the question again. This is the best, I would say, the answering strategy. If it is not clear, you are most welcome to ask the question. This answering strategy, what I feel, I would suggest all the educators over here, all the students, if they've attended, please, if you are not able to understand any of this strategy, what I want to say is, the first one says restate the part of the question. The question is asking something. You have to pick up a phrase. You have to write it all over again. Then you have to provide the evidence for the answer. What I'm writing, it is for XYZ reason. You have to connect it. Again, closing statement should be included from the question itself. Any questions, any queries, anybody wants to say anything, you are free to talk. Unmute yourself and speak out. Anyone? In the chat box also, you can write down the questions. Okay, Shazia has written STR, double S and double C. Yeah, Shazia, as you have written and I have explained, if it is clear to you, can you please repeat it? What is this SDR, double S and double C? Can you please unmute yourself and write it down? Speak it out. If you can write it down, kindly mention it or I'll speak. Can you please? Yeah, S is your sender's address, D is your date, R is your receiver's address, and double S, if I'm talking about S and S, it is salutation, and the another one S is for subject. Okay, and double C is your content and the complimentary closing. Make sure when you write yours truly, the Y is capital and the second letter starts with the small letter. No punctuation marks because open punctuation rule says until and unless the sentence is ended or there is a pause, we are actually, when we write the addresses, we have to write it from the next line. And when we write from the next line, there is no need to put a comma at the end. No commas after dear sir, dear madam, yours truly, yours sincerely. So please avoid these minor mistakes. I'll be posting if there is any doubt, anything you want to write down, any feedback you want to give for this session, you can just write it down. Yeah. When do we use yours truly and yours sincerely? Anka, what's your name? Anita. Okay. Yeah. Yours truly. We are true to some people and we are sincere to some people. Yours truly says when I am true to somebody. We can be true when we are informal also. We can be true to our relatives also. We can be true to your seniors also. Okay. And sincere. Sincere maximum times when we write the application, when we write something to our seniors, when we are in profession, that time we can write sincerely. That means you are going to follow the rules and regulations sincerely. Fine. And again, the third one is your faithfully. When you have complete faith in somebody, okay, that means suppose you are writing the letter and you want to say somebody that when to be written this faithfully. So I'll be faithful to whom? Under whom I'll be working. So that time we can write whatever I am saying, you can have faith in me and whatever I am saying is true to my knowledge. That time you can say yours faithfully also. Clear? Is it clear, Preeti? Preeti has written. Okay, Rishita, thank you.
Ma'am, I am Mrs. Sarita Gupta. I am English teacher of St. Paul School. Through this platform, I just want you to kindly ensure students that they don't have to write their own names in the letters. Even if the name is not given in the question or the address is not given in the question, they make a big mistake. They write their own name, which is not allowed. Kindly, please tell them that they should not write their own names.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for actually I skipped this point. Yeah, children, when we are writing actually the letter, if there is name given in the question, you have to copy the same name. If no name is given, what you can do? You can simply write XYZ, whether it is Hindi or whether it is English. XYZ and it's over. No need to write your own name. Actually, as an English teacher, we face the problems. I don't know how I overlooked this problem. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, anything else? I've skipped. You are most welcome to speak. Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Anybody else who wants to ask anything? I'll be posting the feedback form and the certificate link in the chat box also and in the group also. Kindly fill it. If you have any doubts, please summarize once. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll go for the recap. Yes. Peek. Peek says take you have to just simply peek into what you have done. Glance into the paper. Then you have to prioritize. Prioritize is like go with the easy questions first. This already I have told. We have to actually forget. We have to skip art. Skip art, what it says that whatever you don't know, please don't waste time onto it. You just skip it and move further. Then PTB. PTBS, please take back. Okay, you have to once again, you have to go back from where you have started. Revise, check, and then rectify your mistakes. Next slide, please. Remember these things. Take proper rest before the exam. Don't aim low. Fine, if something is going wrong, let it be. Your mark sheet is not the judgment for your being human, being a good child. So please don't aim low, aim high, and try to achieve it. Try to achieve it. If you are expecting yourself something good, go for it. Don't demotivate yourself if you're not able to get the things. Then read the question paper carefully. Don't panic. First attempt the questions you know. Ensure proper time management. Do not waste time on tricky questions. Pehle jitna aata hai, try to solve that. There is no sequences. Clear, there is no sequencing in the paper. But yes, you should make sure that if you are attempting section wise, try to complete the section. If you don't know the answers, leave a bit of space. 2-mark question, 20 to 30 words or 30 to 40 words. Word limit is given accordingly. You can leave the space. You know the lines. Okay, fine. One line has one line has 7 words. So 7 words, 7 multiplied by 5. 7 5s are 35, more than enough. So you can leave 5 lines and proceed to the next question. If you know, later on you can come back and write the answer, but don't stuck yourself. Then you have to avoid what? You have to avoid guesswork. Jab tak answer nahi hai, chhodna nahi hai, you don't have to leave anything, but please, guesswork always does not work. And then at last, review your answers. You have to review your answer. Whatever you have written, please go through and then come, whether it is wrong, whether it is right, manage your time properly, work well, and that will actually bring success. And this way your examination is completely done. Next slide, please. So, all the best. Let our children rock. All those who are students over there, they can just do it well. They can do it. One thing which I'll suggest always, that whenever, before, if you want to, suppose you want to actually do something nicely. Suppose you have to do something. Suppose if I say that I want to learn this question and I'm not able to do it, you can just simply, before sleeping, revise it. It will be there in your mind and you will get it thoroughly. It will be there fixed into your mind, and you will definitely, when next morning you'll wake up with a positive feeling that yes, I was able to do it. How much minutes sleep we should take before exam? Beta, sleep should not be curtailed. Your sleep activity should not be curtailed. It should be minimum 5 to 6 hours. I would say 7 hours. You should practice beforehand now. Okay. Form is circulated. I would request all to kindly fill it, although it could be given in the WhatsApp group also. But if it is possible, please